Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Gist with Josh. What else can I really say? The Queen is dead. Long live the King. This week, Queen Elizabeth, after living for what felt like, I'm pretty sure 100 years, I believe her exact age was 99 or something, and 98. I believe she's pretty close to 100. And she passed away. The head of the British Empire. Understand that she is like the emblem of like a blazing empire, like one of the last standing monarchs and a British monarch, like an English monarch, like the country that gave birth to America, Canada, Australia, like all these countries, where I'm from, Canada. And it's just amazing, the type of culture. It's weird to think that, like, the type of people that we are, like Canadians or Americans, like, we're utilitarians. We like things to be easy, things that get the job done. They look nice, they look good. We like bigger is better. We like to shop at Costco because we can buy things in bulk. Walmart because stuff is cheap. McDonald's because it tastes good and it's like shit for you. It's like not the highest quality stuff. But that's kind of what it's all about. That's what it represents. That's like what the British Empire kind of kickstarted. I'm pretty sure they're the ones that popularized white sugar throughout the world. I think they're the ones that made that possible. Before they did their thing, like white sugar was like a very, very rare thing. Like you could not get white sugar. Like white sugar was such a golden. It was like gold. It was like cocaine. It was like, just imagine like the pound of granulated sugar that you have in the cupboard being worth an insane amount of money. That's what it was like back in the day. And the British Empire was this blazing force of a fucking god, really, because that's what they represented. Like, that's what the Queen and the King represent, is that they're like God's representative on earth, and they work together with the church. And they went from all over the globe. They sent ships and people and fragments of their empire, like little seeds being spread to pollinate and the world and to proliferate their empire. And look what they did. And we're at a very precarious time right now, and the Queen just died, and that's something to be said, because she was one of the longest reigning queens. I mean, she was kind of like our connection back to that old world kind of thing. And with the way everyone works today, we're all uppity, we're all up out, throw that baby out with the bathwater. What if we forget all that? What if everything just becomes utility, and we forget about God? We don't have like a representative for God on earth. I think that's very important. Queen Elizabeth represented an empire. She represented an age of great expansion. She in a lot of senses, she kind of represents what's it called? Like she represents like the conquering of the new world. She represents like the new age, like expansion of like the British Empire. She represents that. And for her to die, it's like losing that symbol, like the death of that symbol. Like picture like a painting by Da Vinci, and just at the center a rose, and that rose just wilting, and that's like what we're looking at. Like, we have this beautiful empire that was designed meticulously, and expanded and proliferated and created billions of humans. Like a billion humans. I don't know how many people like are British or come from descent of the white in us or whatever, but like, holy smokes, they did some work. And this might be the last time we have someone like this. And that's why I say, long live the King. Bring out with the old and with the new. Like, this guy's 70 years old. A lot of people want him dead already. That's what you keep hearing. And they're saying like, oh, this guy's 70. Honestly, like, if the Queen looking at the Queen's age, old people. He's got probably some good health care. He's probably well taken care of. I'm willing to bet this guy makes it to 90. So we're probably gonna get 20, maybe 30 years out of this guy. 30 years if we're real lucky. And it's really important, and it's very interesting. We're at a period of time where there's a lot of change happening, and for the Queen to die and to have a king now, I think, you can, I really hope that, we can garner some meaning in that, because I really hope this king steps up to this occasion. I really hope, he can fill those shoes and establish something, and I hope there's something to hand. I hope there's something to continue. I don't know about Prince Harry and this Meghan. I don't know how this works, okay? I got to do more research, clearly. But they're not going to come back and, rule if everything comes down. They're off in America. It just feels like, we're really, wow. We grown, we're just growing out. That's just, it's like the disintegration of the heart of the empire. It's what is the empire now? What is the British Empire? What is the British Commonwealth? What does it mean? And a lot of people are happy that it's dying. They're they want it out. They've had enough. They don't appreciate the disintegration. Or they appreciate the disintegration. They say, why are we giving all this money to this queen? These churches, these institutions that have no meaning. They have no place. They don't give us food. They don't deliver grub to our door. They don't make shitty cardboard pizzas. They don't develop apps for our phones. They don't, deliver high fructose products to our faces. Well, what good is a church? What good is a king? What good is a queen? They don't make cool TikToks or fun videos. What do we need them for? They just sit there and they spend all their money. They sit there in a big throne and they make us feel inadequate. What the hell is going on here? Are we paying for this? What's going on here? And I think that's how a lot of people feel about this. And now that the old bag is, they're kind of pleased. They're saying to themselves, oh, well, finally, maybe we can liquidate this big golden thing they got going on here. Take it out. Replace it with, I don't know, a new shopping district, or maybe they could just leave it abandoned to be overrun by homeless people and graffiti. I feel like that's what people want for the Buckingham Palace. But I think that would be doing a massive disservice to the history and heritage of our people and where we've come from. And it just seems to be a wasteful kind of mindset. I think you have to cherish the symbols and cherish the story of our people. Otherwise, we risk to lose a lot of progress. You know what they say, right? Those who fail to learn from history, bullshit, whatever, repeat. I don't gotta get into it. You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about. And you don't want to be stuck doing that kind of retard shit. So, you don't want to repeat of a lot of gay shit. So hopefully we, get a good king. Hopefully he lives for, we just upload him to the AI. We reanimate Queen Elizabeth. We reanimate all the kings and queens for that matter using the AI. We'll just pluck their DNA and reanimate what their, simulate what their brain would have looked like. And then we'll just fire up the simulation of who they were. And we'll have all the kings and queens back to rule over us for eternity, because we'll all live inside the Matrix. We'll all have we'll all live inside of a giant vaporwave mall, and we'll have a cool room inside the mall. But even the room's not going to be that big, because in order to have like a progression system inside this fake world, you'll still have to have like you'll have to have levels, right? You'll have to have the luxury suite, the poor digital properties. You'll still have poor people in the metaverse. You're still gonna have poor people in the metaverse. There's gonna be a lot of poor homeless people in the metaverse. They're gonna be on their microphone. They're gonna be inside their headset. They're gonna be like with you in the game, and they're going to be like poor people in real life, but then they're gonna be like really poor people in real life, but then in the metaverse they're still gonna be like poor people. They'll be poor there too. They'll just be slightly less poor, and it'll be more colorful. So you'll have the illusion of enjoyment. Yeah, that's where we're headed. And I just think it would be nice if when we were there in the metaverse, like all the poor people could like aspire, and like they had some respectable kingly figures, not deplorables, some good strong kings and queens. Long live the king. All right. And in other news, better news, here in Canada, we've actually seen Pierre Poilievre, however you're supposed to pronounce that. He actually won the Canadian Conservative leadership. He's won. It's over. Candice Bergen gave a speech. She said, "I've had enough. This is goodbye." And, I'm just glad. Candice Bergen, she really spoke some good truth. I'm glad that we had a couple politicians stand up against the liberal nightmare, liberal NDP nightmare that's taken over Canada. It's nice to have, especially a woman. I gotta say, I love to see. Nobody speaks the truth quite like a strongly well-spoken woman. A true woman though. And Candice Bergen was lovely. However, I think it's almost among the people, like, there's no better guy than Pierre Poilievre. If you listen to that man, he's been honest with us from the start. There's nothing sketchy going on. If he goes weird on us, it's going to be super, super, super fucking weird. It's not going to make sense. Pierre Poilievre is as far as I'm concerned, the great white hope. He's the last thing standing between us and another, like, standing in between us and a complete liberal Nazi dictatorship fucking takeover. He's the last thing standing between Parliament and Parliament being completely absolved and turned into some kind of weird, like, public institution. They'll call it the plaza or some weird shit, and make you, instead of voting, they'll do like facial, like, who can scream the loudest fucking style votes. We really shouldn't feed into a deep hatred of the liberals. There's a lot of good people. They have good intentions. These are sweet folks, but they have a tendency towards simplifying, making things a little easier than they are. And we know it's important to stress the details. We can't have another 6 years of this super majority. And honestly, it's a real shame we can't call a vote of confidence election. It's a real shame we can't have an election earlier. We're gonna have to wait another 4 years, to get out of this shithole. But I truly believe once this election gets done, and once Pierre Poilievre gets in a position, I can feel the energy coming off this guy. I truly believe he is going to lead us out of this mess. I think he wants to bring manufacturing back to Canada. I think he wants to stop, with the global interference. I think he's going to be able to undo a lot of the bullshit that the liberals have put us in tax-wise. I think he's going to be able to fix a lot of the mess, but he's going to need more than 4 years. And honestly, his reign can't come soon enough. And, I appreciate what he had to say about the king and the queen. And it's good to see, a primary symbol of respect being put forth by the, you know, incumbent prime minister. It's lovely to see. It's necessary, you know. And yeah, no. Normally I put out the show on a Saturday night. However, tonight I decided to put it out on a Sunday. I don't know. It's a little bit late. A little bit late this week. It's the 9/11, I guess. I didn't realize that, which is kind of interesting. 9/11 is was actually was an interesting period, I guess. I wouldn't really know. I was born in 1999, so I'm not sure about like what happened. I would have been like, if it happened in 2001, and I was born in 99, so I would have been like 2 years old. So it didn't matter to me. At that point, I was probably just coming to understand the complexities of Fruit Loops, or, I was just deciding that like applesauce was good. And it didn't really bother me that, there was a terrorist attack, but I guess it was a big deal for a lot of people. And I guess it has a big impact on, how things are going today. I guess a lot of law changes are, you had the Patriot Act that came to affect the United States. A lot of changes came into airport security and how we travel in the air. A lot of stuff. And it's very interesting because COVID kind of like, a lot of people compare that to COVID and how like, things are different now. But then you got Pierre, he's talking about getting rid of the the Arrive Can app. Thank God. That was an absolute atrocity. The Arrive Can app, they when I first arrived in Canada and I was dealing with the Arrive Can app, they shoved I didn't fill out nothing because I don't believe in terrorism and I don't believe in Nazis, whatever. Anyways, and they shoved a Q-tip up my fucking nose, and they wanted to fucking do more. They wanted to do more, and I wouldn't let them. And I said, no, I can't do more. So they kept Q-tipping my nose, and they kept doing it over and over. And then finally, they sent me home, and I had to like go fucking quarantine. And they kept calling me every day, but like I couldn't do the fucking test on the last day because like their software wasn't working, and it was some random third party that had nothing to do with actual government. The government was just paying some random company and giving them the authority to like give you massive fines, and they were threatening you with massive fines if you didn't do your fucking test. I don't know if you had traveled at all with this whole ArriveCan thing, but it was an absolute nightmare, and they terrorized us. And what they are doing to the people in Australia, putting them in fucking weird little huts and making them stay at these little camps and doing all this weird shit and forcing people to take vaccines and lose their jobs. Like we gotta clean it up. We just gotta clean it up. We gotta clean it up, and I think Pierre is he's gonna be our man. He's gonna make sure that it gets all fixed. He seems like a good guy. He's gonna do good by us. But how much of this stuff is gonna stay? That's what I'm kind of thinking. I mean, I'm glad. I'm happy. For all intensive purposes, things are back to normal. I don't have to wear a mask when I go into, the fucking gas station. Get a bag of chips. I can people aren't asking me for my vaccination status, to go into bars and stuff. So I guess things are pretty good. And I can't complain, but they still have this requirement, this ArriveCan requirement. And, they're still talking about requirements for having to have your vaccination if you are going to be in government, which is interesting, though, because there's more than 2 now. So it's like you can't expect people to take like 10. So, but, they backed off in the private sector, like no job in the private sector, like nobody you work for is going to make you take the vaccine at this stage. Like a lot of them backed off. Like no private businesses are. Like they totally backed off. They realized it was crazy and they totally backed off. People stood up. They put their feet down, and that was that. And that's great to see. And there's really no better place than Canada for that. I think that's a good representation of our country's culture and our history, what we believe in. especially as a neighbor to the United States. I was in Los Angeles at one point, and the way they feel about it as like hyper liberal, like a couple Nazis there themselves, you know, a couple of these, especially the woman, a lot of crazy, like super progressive woman that they're completely mindless. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're always like they're always usually they talk like they talk about these UCLA girls. They're all over. They're super young. They're on the beaches. They're at the coffee shops. They're talking about the politics. They're talking about the homeless people. They have no fucking idea what's going on. These people, and they won't. They have these black women in the same vicinity coming in, and they don't give a shit. Like, they're not wearing their mask, and they will not pressure. Like here in Canada, like if somebody at that point was going like anti-mask, like that was like they would get pressured. In LA, they would not pressure these people. Like everyone kept to themselves. I think there was a way more of like a fuck around and find out kind of culture there. Everyone's, not to mention a lot of more guns and stuff. So I think people were a bit more respectful there. But in saying that, you don't have the legal right to defend yourself with a firearm in Canada. So that's another thing Pierre is kind of targeting. He's targeting legal paths to gun ownership, which I think is amazing. You know, I think you got to have that. You got to be able to defend yourself with a firearm, you know? You know, and with that, I think you're gravy. I don't think I think with that, everything else falls into place. You know, I don't think it's going to be like a New World Order fucking mind control. You know, maybe, probably in a bit, but if we can just kind of like nip this in the bud, come together, stop infighting over these silly issues, you know, I think we're kind of cleaning it up now. You can kind of see the sentiment changing in people. Like, they don't want to be 28 different genders. Like, people are pretty firm on like their position that there's only two genders. Like, we're going to respect. Like, if you're a part of that liberal craziness, that's probably going to die out in a couple of years, let's be honest. Like, that's not going to stick around. Like, I feel like that's like the fidget spinners of 2017 or 2016. I feel like transgenderism is like fidget spinners. All right? Just stop talking about it. Just let it pass. Just let it fucking pass. It's like it's like the zombies from The Last of Us. Just let it pass. Don't make noise. You know? And I think we're going into a nice little period for art and music. I think that, you know, you're seeing a lot of people, you know, relax, and they're focusing on, a lot of people took up art and music during the pandemic, but now they're just kind of enjoying it. They can perform. You know, there's like a lot of really new, interesting stuff coming out. A lot of really new, interesting stuff. It's almost like we had some great artists back. Like you can go listen to like people from like, I love Outkast, and I think he's astounding. But you have some amazing new like random artists, like some people that just like create random songs. They have like one song, and they're doing it on the software like Fruit Loop Studio. Like they don't have to have a 1,000 pieces of instruments. They're doing it all in one piece of software. So it's like everybody can do it. Anyone can make any kind of music. Anyone can make any kind of art. You don't need, like, I mean, even with digital, hell, with art, you can have an AI make your art. They have an AI art machine. You can literally write a prompt into an AI called Crayon. Look up Google Crayon.ai. You can put in a prompt, and essentially it'll spit out a picture of that prompt. Like, I had all kinds of fun. Like, I was making pictures and putting them on Reddit and uploading them, and people weren't like questioning it. I think they thought like I made it. Maybe they didn't realize it was like AI generated because it was such a new concept at this point. I think people are catching on. But, you know, we got a lot of really good art, and the stuff that we're putting out is like better than the stuff that they were putting out in the 80s. Like there was like a couple hits, like there was some really good stuff, but music is like so much better. It's like getting so good. Like, oh my god. Maybe it's because there's more people making music, more people with more equipment, more software. You're just getting a lot of better stuff. We're gonna need a lot of good music. The Queen's gone. We're gonna have to make some good music to make up for this big loss. And speaking of, you know what has to pick up. You know who's been fucking the dog, who's really been lagging behind. Okay, is the video games industry. There is nothing new coming out. That's listen, I'm not going to say nothing, but it's been rough out there, okay? They got this new Disney game, Disney Dreamscape. It's like Animal Crossing meets Disney meets the My Sims, and honestly, it looks enchanting. I'm feeling enchanted looking at this game. I kind of want to check it out, But to be completely honest with you, I'm not going to be caught dead. Like, why is this my only option? Like, where's the selection? Like, I know there's supposed to be we're getting a couple, like, in a little bit here. We'll be getting a couple good games. There's going to be like a new Kerbal Space Program. It's going to be like I don't know, like a fucking Elder Scrolls here, some eventually one year. Getting the Starfield game, but like honestly, it's like there's nothing good. It's like you have an option between broken ass Call of Duty where none of the servers fucking work. Like it's hard to be a gamer nowadays. You're pretty much forced to. It's hard to be an enjoyer of any type of media, really. Like any of the new movies are kind of garbage. So I just been like watching old movies. Like I went back and I watched, American Psycho for the first time, which I wouldn't mind getting into. This is a very fascinating movie. Fucking guy's crazy, and Patrick Bateman's crazy. But as far as video games are concerned, I can't be asked to play any goddamn games. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing cool. There's nothing new. There's nothing fun. It's like all strategy deep. There's some good stuff. Some good stuff floating around. Some good strategy games coming out. Some weird indie games. But like, I don't want to play Cult of the Lamb. Like, I want a cool game like Spider-Man or like something flashy, something big, something like flagship, like Sonic, or and they got the new Sonic game coming out, and I'm happy. Maybe there'll be some good stuff, but video games need to pick it up, all right? Because in this future that's being created, where people, we want to have three good things. We want to have good music, good video games. Oh, sorry, four good things: good food, and good drugs. Those are going to be the four most important things in this economy. And in those four areas, if you are working in one of those four sectors of the future economy in video games, I'm too stoned to remember what I just said. But if you are working in one of those four industries, you have to step it up. Because we need you, all right? Your people need you now more than ever. You are now the new heroes. You are the new gods, the ones to ascend and lead us into the future, all right? You got to make us comfortable and happy and pleased with gay little pleasures, okay? All right? But no, I'm happy. I'm happy. Everything seems to be settling back into place. Everything seems to be, getting to a normalized state. Everything's kind of reaching, another year here. We'll be getting our Trump back, maybe, Hey, get our Pierre another year later. And everything's going to be gravy. Everything's going to be just fine. We're going to bring some money back around. People have some money. Housing prices are coming down. Maybe get a house. Women are going to stop acting like bitches because of guys like Andrew Tate. Put them in their place. Cool. We're gonna have more money. Maybe the video games studios will have more money, and maybe they'll start making games that aren't dog shit. That would be nice. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice for a short period. It's like we were in an existential crisis with COVID and all that fucking globalist elites taking over. And it's like we're coming out of that. And it's chill now. It's chill now. It's chilly. We're just chilling. This winter isn't going to be as dark as the last one, as they said. God willing. I think everything's going to be okay for the time being. I think we can relax. It's unfortunate that we lost a grand soul of the human species. That is the Queen Victoria. However, it is often that the old make way for the new. Yeah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Have a blessed week. Take care. Be watching. And enjoy your peace. Enjoy this. Enjoy your peace and stay aware. Stay aware. Have a good time. That's it. That's all it is. That's it.